Arlene here. Welcome back to my Country Craft Corner. How in the world are you guys doing today? It is so good to see you, and thank you so much for coming back to see what I'm up to. Hope you all have had a great weekend. I've had a good weekend. This is actually Saturday. I've had a good weekend so far. I had a good day yesterday and just kind of hung out with Chris, and we didn't do a lot of anything. And Kristen is here today with us. She's recovered and doing all right. Thank you guys for all of your prayers and well wishes for her. I sure appreciate it, and she does too. I'm coming to you today to finish up my transitioning over to my Cozy Country Decor indoor decor. Today I'm going to be making that big lantern centerpiece with a big funky bow swag for my dining room table. I've been diligently working on and off on all the little spaces in the living room and dining room, and I really didn't do that much, and I will take you around and show you everything. Actually, I'm going to show you one thing today, and I'm going to show you the top of the two hutches. You guys have seen everything that's gone up onto the hutches, but then I am going to do a home tour of all the indoor spaces, possibly coming up this week for you guys. And that will include the bedrooms upstairs. And then I think I will start decorating the outdoors. And I have two wreaths I'm going to make. One for the front door in cream burlap with just a red burlap and some very minor accent pieces. And then I think I'm going to make a deco mesh wreath out of that white that I got, whitey silvery white that I got at Joann's the other day. I believe it's white. I need to get it in some better light. But I think I want to do one of those for my front light post. So we'll see. We'll see how far I get with all of that stuff. So, and then I'll have my mailbox to do, but we're supposed to be getting some snow this week, so I'm not sure how far I'll get on the outdoor decor. I might need to do the wreaths and then wait and to do the outdoor decor. So we'll just have to wait and see what's coming our way. So, but anyway, I'm going to turn this camera around and point it down, and we're going to get started making this lantern centerpiece, and then I will show you the spaces out in the living room and dining room real quick, you know, and then I'll go into more detail on the home tour, you know, as we walk around. And actually I might go into detail today, and then on the home tour I'll just walk around and, you know, show you, oh, remember this and remember that, and you know, like I do my home tours. You all have seen that. So but anyway, doing this one because this is one of my favorite centerpieces that I have ever created, and I'm recreating it again, but this time I'm going to be making a funky bow swag to go with it. So I'm really looking forward, and I've got those 3 ribbons, so fingers crossed, you guys, that it'll all work out. So I'm going to quit yammering because I just tend to do that on and on and on, and I'm going to turn this camera and we're going to get started. Be right back. Okie dokie, I'm back. And first of all, I wanted to go over some of the tools that I use to make a lantern centerpiece. Not sure how many times I'll need to use my snippers, but I will be using my snippers. I will give you a link to in the description to these. These are awesome. They are from Home Depot, and they work really well for those of us who might have weaker hands. I don't have arthritis that I know of, but my hands are the older I get, the harder it is to squeeze things like this. These work really well and have been a godsend to me since Chris got them for me. I have my mat because I need to measure for my ribbon for my funky bow, and it also protects my countertop, I have found. I got this at Walmart for, I think it was 30 some dollars, maybe 28 to 35, I can't remember how much. My rotary cutter, which I need a new one of, this one is ancient, and I'm sure they look totally different now, so I'm not going to even tell you much more about this other than it is a rotary cutter, and that's to cut my ribbon. And then of course a pair of scissors, and I need a pipe cleaner right now to do this bow. So I'm going to get started here, and these are the 3 ribbons I'm going to use, and you'll see why I'm using these colors of ribbons as we move on into this decor. I'm going to point out the sum total of my Valentine's Day decor inside. There it is. I have 2 little bears, I've got a little love heart pillow up in there, and then if you turn it, I've got a little, wait a minute, let me go around. I've got a little kiss right there, and I've got a I love you little plaque right there. So that is literally all of the decorations that I have done for Valentine's Day. Now, like I said, Valentine's Day. Now, like I said, I'm going to be doing my 2 Valentine's Day wreaths, and the outdoors will be Valentine's Day looking. But I just don't do any inside. I see everybody else doing it, and I love it, but that is just something that I have never done, and really, and after doing all this decorating and redecorating, I want to keep it like this for a while. I'm tired. So I'm going to open up this ribbon. I'm going to need 3 strips of each at 30 inches long. Yep, that's long. I'm going to start them out long, and I'll probably end up trimming them all down. But I'd like to, this is going to be a big, oh, you got to be kidding me. That just dropped on the floor. This is going to be a big swag, so I want to be sure I have long tails. So 3 of each at 30 inches. Go ahead and dovetail the ends, even though I will probably cut them all down. But I am going to dovetail them. The way I do it is the way I dovetail is I fold my strips in half lengthwise. I go to the edge and cut up. Most people go to the fold and cut down. Either way, you get the same result. You get a dove's tail. Also, while I'm cutting here, I wanted to say one more time, and I think I am going to stop saying this because, yes, I learned how to do my funky bows from this lady, but I have kind of tweaked and made my own designs out of the basic instructions. So, but I did learn how to do the basic instructions from Julie over there at Southern Charm Wreaths. So I want to go check her out. She's awesome. Doesn't know me, doesn't have a clue who I am, but she's awesome. All right, I'm going to speed through the rest of these cuts so that we're not standing here all day cutting. And I will be back when I've got them all cut, dovetailed, and lined up and ready to make the bow. Be right back. Okie dokie. I'm ready to put this bow together now, and I wanted to let you know I did end up making 4 strips of each because 2 of the strips are only a 1.5 inch width. So I thought, I don't think I'm going to have enough oomph with this bow. Also, I wanted to show you the main flower that I'm going to be using in the bottom of the decor, and I'm going to have one of these up near the bow too, and you can see kind of the creamy white and the silver. And then if you look in here, the inside is kind of a gold. So that's where I came up with all 3 colors of the ribbon. So let's hope this bow works out. The way we do this is I'm going to just fold these right in half. You don't have to be perfect. You know, they don't have to be exactly in half, but that's just easier than measuring. The reason I made 30-inch strips is because I want 10-inch tails. So the way you figure out what size you want your strips is you figure out how long you want your tails. Because I usually make all of my bows with 5-inch loops. So therefore I know I need 10 inches of ribbon in each strip just to make the loop. And then on either end, which makes the tails, I need 10 inches if I want 10-inch tails. If you want 8-inch tails, make it smaller. If you want 5-inch tails, and so on. So, how I showed you this for the last year almost is go to 10, then go to 20 on your board, pull them together, and that gives you a 5-inch loop. But double check it, pinch it together, go to the back tail and twist to bring the right side up. This doesn't look like it, but this really is two-sided or one-sided ribbon. All of these are, as a matter of fact. They look just a little different on the back side. And that gives you a 5-inch loop and 2 10-inch tails. But instead of measuring every time, you really just can fold them right in half. One of you subscribers said, Arlene, why don't you just fold them in half? And I'm like, duh, why don't I do that? And I did. That's when I started folding them in half. So, again, I want to make sure I have a 5-inch loop, and I do, and I pinch this together. And because this is an even numbered looped bow, I want to do each set of ribbons up one direction and then turn them and do them down the next direction. You'll see what I mean. Instead of alternating every time, I'm going to do 3 up, like this. Come under. Did I do that to the cream? Yes, I did. Now this time, starting again with the silver, you can see I'm ready to start with silver again. I'm going to turn the next 3 strips the opposite direction. And we're going to see if this works, you guys. I can't remember if I've made one this big or not. So this is kind of an experiment. Hopefully this will work. Nothing like me to try something brand new right on camera, huh? Let you see me warts and all, you guys. That is really stiff, that white. All right, there's the next 3. I try to pull my loops up too. Okay, here we go with silver again, so I'm going to turn it the other direction. Again, I have 12 strips in all. Start up again. Speaking in up and down terms, aren't I? Up from center, down from center. And up again. This is stiff. Twist. One more. And then 3 more. And we're going to go the opposite direction with these again. And my hand is screaming at me right now. Big time screaming at me. One more. My mom would say, praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. Whew. I am one hurting pup right now. And get your pipe cleaner. I have a silver one. go to about the center point in your pipe cleaner and put it under your thumb, grab a hold of it, and then wrap it around. Use the hand that you're holding the bow shut with as resistance and pull and twist. I didn't get it tight enough. And twist. And you twist the bow, it makes it a little tighter. Never have said that. Whew. Gracious. And then stretch your back out like I have to do every time. All right, now, as I always like to say, that's a hot mess right there, isn't it? But now's the time when you can start making it pretty. Of course, I'm gonna make a swag out of this, so I don't want to do too much work with this right here, but I just kind of want to pull all of my loops up and forward. Just to see what I have to work with here. And of course, I'm going to be adding things to this, and I think this one, I need to yank on that one a little bit. There we go. And you'll see it take shape. You just got to continue to fool around with it and make it pretty to your eye. I think I'm going to like this. Can you see the colors? All right, I'm going to set this aside for now, and we are going to work with the lantern a little bit before we make up the funky bow swag. All right, now I'm going to go through a little bit of an explanation about my lantern centerpieces, just in case there are those of you joining me for the first time and have never seen me make a lantern centerpiece. I would call this one of my signature pieces for sure. This is an original way to do these. I am the one that came up with these as far as I know. I didn't look at anybody else to learn how to do this. I kind of came up with this one myself. So I give credit for the funky bows to Julie over there at Southern Charm Wreaths, but I give credit to myself on this one. I always like to give credit. That's another thing. You know, if I've not come up with an idea, I like to say who did, so that you guys can go and check them out too. You know, I think that's the nice thing to do here on YouTube. So let me grab, I need to clean this tray. I have not cleaned it since I took my Christmas decor off of it. But let me get my Windex here. I wanted to let you know I do make all of my lantern centerpieces, ones that I'm going to use as a centerpiece, on my kitchen table and on my dining room table, and then I usually make one for my hearth. I like to make them in trays for two reasons. One, I can pick them up and move them if I need to. And two, it gives me a parameter in which to make my decor. So those are the two reasons why I thought about putting them in a tray. There we go. All right. Get this lantern cleaned off too. As you see this lantern, I unfortunately cannot give you a link to a website where you can get this lantern. If you want to take a trip to Harrisonburg, Virginia, they have, or they did last fall, had this specific lantern over there in a store called Country Treasures. But that's where I got one of my lanterns like this. I actually have two lanterns like this, one for my dining room table like I'm making today, and one that sits right here on my kitchen table. And I just love that I have two the same. You can see both tables sometimes if you stand at a certain area, so I like the continuity of having them look the same but different. That's just my anal retentiveness there. So, but anyway, let's get started building some decor in and around this lantern. First thing I want to do, this is a tablecloth that I have sitting on my dining room table. And I usually try when I buy a tablecloth to buy placemats to match if they are available, because I know I'm going to want to use one in my lantern, and I use the others if they don't have a runner. I use the others on my sideboard, which I'll show you when we get out to the dining room. So anyway, I always start my lantern centerpieces by putting down a placemat. This helps to keep the lantern still, and it also protects, you're going to see what I'm going to put in here in a minute, it protects some of my accent pieces. So there we go. First of all, let me do a little bit of something inside the lantern. Not a big deal here. Let me move this out of the way for just a second. Also, let me say one thing here first. There are times I am all about using coupons all the time, only buying things on sale. I do that all the time with most of my accent pieces, with most of my decor. I hardly ever buy anything at full price. But I did want to mention that there are times that I will bite the bullet and pay full price. For instance, for these lanterns. These lanterns were, I believe, $60, $50 or $60. The trays I did get half off at Hobby Lobby. They have their trays on sale every other week for half off. And it still cost me $20, I believe, for the tray. And then the other thing, my other staple piece that I have for this centerpiece, that's another thing. I always use staple pieces that I redecorate for each season or holiday. So as I said, this was just decorated for Christmas. Before that, it was decorated for fall, and so on. So I may redo this for Easter the next time. But this is my everyday decor that I keep on this all year round, pretty much, except for when I switch for Easter, fall, and Christmas. Not for patriotic. I don't think I do this one for patriotic. At least I didn't last year. Regardless, the third staple piece is a luminaire candle. This was pricey, admittedly. This comes with a remote that you can turn it on and off, or when you turn it on at this time of day, it'll stay on for 6 hours and then come on every day at the same time and turn off by itself. So I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought 9-inch by, I think these are 4.5-inch luminaire candles for my two big lanterns. If I don't have a luminaire candle, I use a candle stick inside the lantern so that it lifts the candle up so that you can be sure to see the candle up over the accent pieces around in the tray. So, but before I put that candle in there, I want to put a pipberry ring, and I just made this myself. I cut it off of this length of pipberry garland. I get all my pipberry garlands from thepipberrybarn.com. I'll put that in the description. And I use pipberries in my decor all the time. Anyway, I made this, and I just simply want to put this around the bottom of the candle just to give a little bit of interest inside the lantern. There are times when I do something more elaborate inside the lantern, but not at this time of year, not for my everyday decor. I just kind of put a pipberry garland, pipberry ring in there, kind of fluff it up around the candle, and that's about all I do inside. There we go, and that's it. And let me bring my, that was Gracie having a scratch there, our golden retriever. Let me bring my tray back over. Next thing is just to simply set the lantern right in the center of the tray. And there are times when I will go ahead and measure it to make sure that I'm centered. I did one last fall that I didn't make sure, and it was all cattywomp. It was a mess. So let me see. 6 inches, 6 inches. Also check front to back, or the sides, I mean. It's 2.5, and about the same. Look at that. All right. Look at that sticking out of there. All right, first thing I want to do is take a pipberry garland just provides me a base with which to build the decor, honestly. You may be able to see a little bit of this through the decor I'm going to put on here, but I have a good bit of stuff to put on this, so the pipberries garland may very well disappear, but it will help to lift the decor that I'm going to put in here. I'm actually using, what are these called? Money coins, money, I can't remember what they're called, and they are very flat. So I need something to hold them up a little bit and to make them look bigger than they are, bigger and fluffier. Next thing I want to add are these silver, I don't know what, they're spheres that I got, and not at Christmas time. I don't think these are ornaments. I'm not sure what you would use these for, but I'll tell you what I use them for. I use them and I put them down on the holder part. I use them to anchor my corners. I like to anchor my corners on my lanterns. Don't ask me why. I just like how it looks, to have something the same in each corner. And I think it adds interest. And this is one of the main reasons why I put a table or a placemat in this particular one, because of these. So there we go. Got my corners anchored. Now I'm going to go ahead and add these flowers. I have 4 of them, like I showed you when I was making the bow. One for the front, one for the back, and one for either side. And then the next thing are these money coins. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to speed through this part because it takes me a while to get these things put on here. And it's just a matter of me just placing them in and around. There's no rhyme or reason to them. It's just, I put them in until I like how it looks, until I've used all of these up. I have some over here that I might use in my bow swag. I would say this pile is about 4 of these. And I remember when I first made this, I kept going out and getting more because it wasn't enough for me. So these are very flat, and that's why I have the pipberries in there. All right, I'm going to speed through this and I'll be back when I've got these all in place and it's nice and filled up. And there we go. Now, the last thing I want to put around the bottom are some silver beads. And again, I'm going to go ahead and speed through these. It's just a matter of putting them where I think they look pretty. Evenly dispersed around. And it just helps to pull in that silver. Looking pretty good. All right, I'm going to move this aside and we're going to get started on making that funky bow swag. Let me move this back a little bit while I work with the bow. All right, first thing I want to do is to attach this pipberry garland to the back of it. And I want this to be the top and this to be the bottom because I did cut this from something else and I want this to hang down and this to be kind of flouncy and full at the top. So open up. I don't open it up all the way, I just spread it out so I can put this down. And there's really not a right side, but this is kind of bowing that way. So I'm going to consider that my right side. And first thing, you know what I forgot? First thing I want to do is I'm going to use gold. Cut a big piece of gold, a strip of gold, and put that in before I put the pip berry in. Because this is what I'll use to tie it on, the whole thing onto the lantern. And I use my pipe cleaner that I close the bow with to tightly put these on there. And I'm not going to cut my pipe cleaner all the way because who knows. I might take it back off and add something back into this spot. And that's all I want to do with that portion. And now I'm going to pull my lantern back over here. I'm going to tilt my camera up a little bit because we're going to be working up a little higher. There we go. Turn this way. And get my swag. Now, when you tie these on, you can see how I am manipulating it to kind of go in the direction I want it to go. You need to kind of try to do that as you tie it on to your lantern. And pull it tight. Make sure I have it really tight, and if you have somebody who can give you a finger when you tie this bow, that's sometimes helpful. I don't right now, so I'm just going to hope and pray it stays there nice and tight. And I make a square bow right over left and then left over right, and then I twist that loop as I put it through and make a pretty little bow. And then that will be the back, but as you'll see, this will kind of all blend together. So as we get to working with it a little bit, and then I just dovetail the ends. Like that. And I'm going to turn it around, and we're going to start working with that bow a little bit and figuring out what else I want to add to this swag. I do need to turn it toward me a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Because it's tied on nice and tight now, it's easier to manipulate these loops. Probably will speed through a part of this too, because this can get a little boring, I know. Can pull some of the tails up and in to part of the bow. You can separate them out a little bit. You can also trim them down, which is what I'm fixing to do here in a little while. They're a little bit long for my taste, but I always like to start them long on these lantern centerpieces because you just never know what it's going to look like once you get it on the lantern. There we go. First thing I know I want to put on this is a flower like is down below, but I want it to kind of go on this side. So I think I'm going to actually cable tie this on like this. So I'll be right back. Let me get a cable tie. I'm just going to cable tie it onto the pipberry garland down here. There we go. Just like that. And cut. There we go. Now, I do have some of these, and I think I would like to put some going out the top and some coming out the bottom. I do have my hot glue gun plugged in, and I think I will just glue them in like that. It doesn't have to be over the top, but just a little touch, just to bring the decor from the bottom to the top, you know, to pull it all together. This one might need to be a little longer. I think I might cable tie this one on. I do have some of the silver. And I'm cable tying this on too. Whatever engineer created cable ties, they were a genius. Get my glue gun. My fancy dancy new glue gun. Let that sit a minute. You really can't make these go any way. They kind of just are flouncy and go whatever way they want. I'm beginning to like this. It's looking pretty. Now I wanted some silver up there. I'm going to come on that side. I'm going to glue those couple of things in. Actually, I'm going to turn it this way, you guys, so I can do it from that direction. I can't reach it from over here. That's pretty much all I want to do up there. I'm going to wait for this to dry a little bit. And then I'm going to cut up some of these tails a little bit because they're a little bit crazy for my taste. Some of them are okay, others need a little trim. And I'm going to give it a second, and then I'll trim, and then I'll be back. I'll probably do the trimming in fast motion for you guys, and then I'll be back with some final words. Be right back. Hey everyone, I'm back, and I am finished. And I am, guess what I'm going to say? I am super happy with how it turned out. Oh my goodness, what a statement this is going to make on the dining room table. And I think you'll see once it's on that tablecloth that it's going to bring the grays and the creams and the khakis and the silvers all together. It's going to pull everything in that room together. This is a kind of a dressy, I will say a dressier, I wouldn't say shabby chic at all, but it is a dressier lantern centerpiece for sure. And I love it. I think it is super pretty, very, very pretty. And let me bring it up closer to you. Now, you all know these things are heavy. So that's one thing I would say. If you want to make one like this, just be aware that it can get heavy. The more things you add to it, the heavier it gets. And Chris usually carries these from point A to point B for me because I can barely handle them. So, but I'm really happy with how this worked out. So let me see if I can lift it up and y'all can take a closer look at it, but then I'll do like a 360 out in the dining room too. Here we go. There's that bow. Oh my goodness. It's just really, really pretty. I don't have any kind of fairy lights or anything like that around the bottom. I just want the candle alone to make the statement, you know. I do have fairy lights around the sideboard arrangement, and it's no big deal. I'll show that to you. But anyway, I'm going to say goodbye to you here in front of the camera, and then probably again behind the camera. But I do want to blow you my kiss and say that I hope all is well with everyone, and that there's nothing that any of you are anxious about, and that you are always in my thoughts and prayers. And until next time, until I get behind the camera, but until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye. Okie dokie everyone, here I am out in the dining room. Chris just carried this out here for me. And I am, like I said, I'm so happy with this and how it looks here on the dining room table. These rooms are a little bit more formal, but still yet in the country theme. And I don't want anybody ever to come in here and feel like they can't sit down and put their feet up. So most people do come in here and put their feet up and relax. But these colors are lighter and airier and softer. These are my favorite rooms, to tell you the truth, to look at in the house. They're so pretty. Here is this very quick, very quick sideboard. This is just 4 tufts of flowers, as you can see, with a pipberry garland that was already wrapped with fairy lights, and the last 2 tufts of cotton that I had. I utilized every bit of that cotton that Candace gave me. There's my pot. Oh wait, artichoke. There's where the artichoke landed. The pineapple dressed up like an artichoke. Hey, if I can't laugh at myself, you know, who can I laugh at? And then there's the top of the hutch. Just, that bowl used to be on top of the other hutch, but I stuck it up there. Chris did actually for me. And there's that candy dish. When I do the home tour, I'll tell you the story behind the candy dish and my mom's dog. And Here's the top of that other, my grandma's hutch. There's that pineapple I bought and hauled, and the fleur-de-lis, and the little birds. That's a quick arrangement that I already had made. Both of these were. I just stuck some, I lightened that one up. I took some brown flowers that I had in there and I lightened it up and put the cotton in it, and then I just added the cotton to that one. And that's it. I'm gonna walk on over here real quick. I don't want to go into a lot of detail because I am going to do the home tour. There's that wreath that I always have hanging there. I made that, and I do have a voiceover video for that, I believe. And then this corner, again, I'm not going to dwell long. I do want to do a home tour. Here's my precious books. I also need to clean. I need to vacuum and spiff things up a little bit here because I've been decorating for so long. And I have a light out in my little house. I gotta replace that light up there. So there's the family room. And here is my lantern that I'm going to, I'm not sure how I'm going to decorate that. I don't think I'm going to do it for Valentine's Day, but I may do it in, of course I'll do it in reds, and maybe put an element of Valentine's Day in it that I can take out real quick into the swag. But I want to do, I think I have a swag actually made, I need to find, that I can put back on that. And anyway, that's it, you guys. Back to this lantern centerpiece. I love how this bow turned out, you guys. I love the combination of the silver and the gold. Wow. I really am glad that I tried that and wasn't afraid to step out of that matchy-matchy box, you know. Like I get stuck in sometimes. I don't want it to be matchy-matchy. Sometimes I want it to blend and be pretty. And it all blends so well with the tablecloth. And that's it. So, I'll just say, until next time, I don't know what's coming up next, you guys. Maybe the home tour. Maybe. But I'll surprise you. But I'll just say, again, until next time, y'all take good care. Bye-bye.